Welcome to Impact and Influence, the podcast for real estate business owners and professionals who are ready to make a bigger impact, scale, have greater sustainability, and increase their influence. This series opens the door to the sharpest minds across the industry, including agency owners, advisors, and trusted partners who share real-world insights and lessons learnt. These are short, practical conversations designed to save you time, sharpen your strategy, and help you build a business by design, not by default. If you're responsible for growth, profit, client experience, leadership, recruitment, or retention, this podcast is your go-to for smarter choices and more decisive leadership. It's proudly presented by Regrowth. We are a coaching and consulting business for the real estate arena. We help you build on capability, connection, and curiosity.
Welcome back to the next episode of Impact and Influence with Regrowth Consultancy. We're really excited today to welcome Chantelle Collin from BresicWhitney. Hello, Chantelle, and welcome to the podcast.
Good morning. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here.
Oh, it's so great. I can't wait to hear your story. So obviously, for those that don't know, Chantelle, you are the head of property management, which is no small title there. And recently you've become a shareholder in the business. So firstly, congratulations.
Thank you.
A huge recognition for your years of hard work. How long have you been at Bresic now?
Almost 10 years.
Wow. Yeah. Time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah. As they say, time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies. But your, let's call it pathway to leadership.
Yeah.
I mean, it hasn't just been 10 years, but that's been a significant part of your kind of leadership journey. Can you, for those that don't know your story, can you share with us that part?
Well, it started really almost 27 years ago, which is, hard to believe.
I know that feeling.
So where did that time go? It certainly hasn't been linear. I've done pretty much every role, I think, that you can imagine in property management, from starting out on the front desk to then moving into becoming a property manager, and then later senior property manager. And then I became department head of that small franchise business before taking, I guess, a sidestep into business development. It was a fairly new concept at the time. There wasn't too many BDMs around back then. So I did that for a brand that was making ground into Queensland. They were really well known down here. And they wanted to make a break into the Queensland market. So I was the only PM member for that business to start off with. So that was pretty great experience, starting from zero, building that rent roll. And then that was when Bresic gave me a call almost out of the blue one day, but it was in 2016, and asked me if I'd be interested in coming down and heading up their new business team. So after some conversations, and as soon as I walked into that office, I was like, yeah, this is where I want to be.
It has that impact, doesn't it?
It does. It's a pretty impressive office. I'm very lucky to work there. So I joined and was the head of new business team for 3 years. And when the head of property management role became available, it was actually my predecessor who said, "You need to go for this. This is what you should be doing."
How nice is that?
Yeah. So it was really nice to have his words of encouragement. And here I am.
10 years later.
Here I am. Yeah.
Who would have known? Who would have known? So let's just go 10 years at Bresic.
Yeah.
What are your, I guess there's been lots of lessons in that time. For someone who's kind of starting out that journey in leadership and I suppose wanting to, progress more, what are some of the insights that you can give them from your lessons learned?
Great.
Tough question to start with.
Tough question. I would say be patient for the right role. It needs to feel right. That's probably the first thing I would say. But then also just trust your instincts. When opportunities open up, they open up for a reason, and to just step in through that fear and just put yourself forward. Yeah. If you're wanting to progress and you've got ambition, just go for it. You need to go for it.
Absolutely. But I love that element of be patient, because it's not just a time to, I've been doing this for a certain time and I should move on. It's, be patient for when the time's right for you, because it's not the same for everybody. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the role has to be available as well. Like we all have a map and I guess a goal timeline of where we want to be. But it's got to be the right opportunity at the right time as well. So I think being patient to make sure that it fits. Yeah. Rather than just taking something because it's there. It might not be necessarily the right thing long term.
Just for a title, because we were just talking about titles, weren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not always the best option.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay, so talk to me about structure of your team at the moment.
Yes.
Let's get into the nitty gritty of what you do as head of PM, because again, that's a title that means such a different thing across so many businesses. So I'm really curious, what's the structure of your team?
Yeah.
And then what is your day-to-day functionality, I suppose, as a leader of leaders is how I classify your role sometimes.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to describe it. And I think head of PM does mean something different depending on the size of business that you're in.
Yeah.
So for us, we've got 5 offices and growing. I oversee a team of 40 specialists in property management. So it's a pretty big team.
Yeah.
And we manage 3,500 properties. So I think that just gives some context into the size.
Yes.
First of all.
Yes.
But I do have a leadership team that I work with alongside me. That's Rebecca Towndrow, operations manager. And I've also got area managers as well. So they're the leaders leading the PM team, and Rebecca looks after the operations of the business. So for me, that gives me the freedom to really set the vision, be focused on the strategic goals for the long-term future growth of the business. And also for me, allows me the opportunity to focus on growth as well. So the BDM team reports directly into me.
So you've got the BDM team plus the leadership team.
Yeah.
And then what's your involvement with the day-to-day property management team?
Yeah, I'm still very much involved. I like to be as approachable always. And I like to check in with them. I've got an impacted influence group that we have. It's got which is made up of senior portfolio managers. It's the new business team lead. Our leasing team lead is in that group, as well as the area manager and the operations manager. So it's a nice team that I can work with closely to help drive things that we might be working on, projects. If there's new tech that we're looking at introducing, we talk to it at that group level. But overall, I'm very much involved and still connected with everyone as much as I possibly can. It's really important for me that they see me as someone who's approachable and they can just have a coffee chat with anytime.
Yeah, you're not sitting in that office.
Yeah.
Just doing your thing.
No, and I think because we've got open planned offices as well, that really helps drive that culture, that I am accessible. Yeah. If I'm in the kitchen, I'm saying hello to everybody. I really want to know my team as much as I possibly can. That's really important for me. Yeah.
So with that comes challenges when you're so accessible.
Yes.
How do you manage that? But also, how do you ensure that everyone sticks to their swim lanes, I suppose, because it's, when you've got such a big team and that leadership team, and they can kind of I don't like the answer here, so I'll go to Chantelle or, that happens occasionally. How do you manage that?
Yeah, I think it doesn't actually really happen that much anymore. And I think that's because we've really set clear pathways and expectations for everyone and who their direct manager is. Yeah. And I will support them. They know that they have my full support. So I don't really see that, that going to mum and then trying to go to to dad situation. Yeah. I think that because we have got those clear definitions in place and clear expectations in place, I think helps with that.
Awesome. How do you keep your leadership team accountable? And I'm really curious, what's your meeting rhythm with so many people within the business? Because again, from a leadership role, it's easy to be just swept up in meetings upon meetings upon meetings and not get anything or feel like you're getting anything done. Yeah. So what does that look like for your business?
So we've got regular forums, which the area managers run with the property managers, and they're every week. They're just a general catch up for them to just talk about current things that they're working on, any situations like that. I don't sit in them for a reason, because I want them to have the freedom and space to run that. Yep. And they're more open and just can have a chat and be collaborative.
Yep.
So
love that.
I know what the agenda is, but I don't sit in on those forums. The new business forum I am in, every week.
Yeah.
That's different. They need that accountability, and the market's changing so much. So I need to be in that with them weekly.
Yeah.
And then the impact and influence is once a month. And then I run the quarterly forums, which is our whole team coming together.
Yeah, awesome.
And then one-on-ones that I do with the BDMs and also my leadership team.
And that's monthly?
That's monthly.
Yeah. And then how often would your leaders meet with their property management team for one-on-ones?
Monthly.
Yeah,
as well.
okay.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of meetings.
Yeah. That's why I have them.
Correct. Because you can't, otherwise you would be stuck there, wouldn't you?
I couldn't, at a point you can't do everything.
Yeah.
And that's why I've empowered them to really lead those one-on-ones with the property managers and the leasing team, because they need support and they need that. So that's why I have them.
Yeah,
absolutely. Helps me with that for sure.
So how do you keep those leaders accountable?
Yeah, great question. Different for the area managers with the operations manager. The area manager is a combination of success metrics, which somewhat mirrors what the PM's success metrics are.
Yep.
And then it's also some project deliverables in that as well.
Yeah, great.
I'll have one-on-ones with them to make sure that they're on track with those targets. And achieving their deliverables. But I really give them the freedom and space to make calls as well and make decisions on key things also.
Yeah.
I think early on I probably tried to control that a little too much, and I've worked out over the years that the more freedom that you give, the more growth they will have.
Funny that.
And the more you can...
But we all do it, don't we? We don't like to let go.
Yeah, I think you have to go through that and learn that. But also it's really rewarding to see them rise.
Yes.
And then being able to take on more, which then ultimately leaves me more space to focus on the strategic vision and the growth.
And it's so funny, isn't it? Because we think we're doing the right thing by holding on to and holding their hand, so to speak. Yeah. But you're actually then not freeing up your time to do the things that you need to do to move forward, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you're holding them back as well.
Correct.
From what their, what's their potential, what's possible for them. Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. I love that.
Yeah.
You mentioned planning. I love the planning that you guys do in your business. It's one of the best that I've seen in the industry. So firstly, well done. Why is that so important across every level? Because I know it's not just the leadership team that does that planning and that goal setting. That's right down to everyone, every role within the business. Why is that such an important part of who you are at Bresic? And why do you do it?
For a number of reasons. I think if I first start with why we do it at an individual level, I think it's really important for each team member to have a plan and have goals, and then for the leaders to know what they are. If that's unknown, you can't really help people achieve what they want to achieve, and you can't coach them, you can't mentor them into achieving those goals. But also what I found by doing those, and we call them personal growth plans.
Yes, I even love that language.
Thank you. It's about them. It's not a business goal. It's actually a personal growth goal. And if we can play a role in people's growth and helping them develop in their careers, and that's pretty rewarding. For a leader, but equally and more importantly for them to see them go and achieve what they've set out to achieve.
Great for retention, isn't it?
Very good for retention, but it raises everything to the surface as well. So you can really hear if someone is, they're not having the best day or the best month or what's on their mind, and you can help then say, well, if we took that away, if we did this for you, what would that look like? Yeah. So it just really helps have really good real conversations with each individual team member. So that's why we do it at the individual level. And then as a business and looking at the PM business in its, I guess, as well as the whole business, but looking at just that part of it. Yeah. It's important to have a plan so that everybody knows what the vision is and what the plan is, and then everyone buys into that and they're on the journey with that. If what I found, if people don't know what the direction is, or what the vision is, then it's kind of like, well, what are we trying to achieve?
Yeah, why do I have to hit these KPIs? Why do I work hard?
Yeah. What am I doing? Why are they asking us to do this?
Yeah, it's a good point.
The why is really, really important for everyone. Everyone needs to know why Why am I coming to do this every day, right?
Correct, because it's easy to get caught up in, that leadership space and that planning space and be like, we know where we need to be.
Yeah.
But to have that effect going through the business, I think has a huge impact on results.
Massive.
And culture,
And culture, because then you feel like you are one team and you're all in it together and you're all going in the same direction together.
Yeah, absolutely. Part of that culture piece within your business is around self-development. So we've talked around that kind of individual planning, but another layer of that, you have this huge focus on training and development for your team of what you, I suppose, provide for them.
Yeah.
But my take, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, because this is an outsider's perspective, is that there's an expectation that they also take on elements for their own personal development as well, outside of what you provide. Firstly, am I right?
Look, we certainly encourage everybody to explore other pursuits and interests.
Yeah.
And we've done that for a really long time. That we support, we call it external study. So if somebody wants to go and do a project management course just to understand that more, and there's an equal benefit to then having that knowledge that they can apply to what they do. And I just see that as an extra skill set that they then have under their belt, and they're more enriched to, give advice and be that trusted advisor in the property management space.
Yeah.
So I think, I always look more broadly, like there's so much property management training, so much real estate industry specific training. Yeah. But let's look outside of that and let's complement what we do.
And also where they want to go, right? So it ties back into those plans.
Into those plans.
Yeah.
Like we've had a lot of strategic investor type discussions of late with the climate that we found ourselves in. So the team have found that really interesting. They've learned a lot more in that space that they didn't know before. So this just all really helps for people in their careers and, just sets them up for success with whatever they may do later on, and we hope they stay with us, of course, but,
not everyone will they?
Not everyone will. Yeah. And what I find really rewarding is that we've helped shape people and given them those opportunities that they might not have had otherwise.
So what does that pathway look like? If I'm starting in your business on reception, where we started, what does that pathway look like? Because there is an expectation within the real estate industry that there should be progression, and I encourage that always. But what does that look like at Bresic?
Yeah, I think because the nature of the size that we are, we can provide a lot of career pathways and progression opportunities for everyone. Not necessarily just starting out on concierge. Yeah, we've created our field services team. Which is like our cadetship program. Yeah, awesome. Where we've had a lot of people come into that with no experience at all. So we've had a former Bondi lifeguard. We've had people from the health industry, airline industry, media industry that were really interested in getting into real estate. So they've come in with no experience and we've put them on this pathway and training them and developing them into either becoming a property manager, they might want to go into a leasing team, or they might have sales aspirations down the track. So we nurture that talent early on and through conversations work out what their interests are and where they'd like to pursue. So then we can map that pathway out for them.
I love that. So on that element of recruiting from outside the industry, what are your key things that you look for in a candidate?
I would say any industry that works with people. Hospitality is a great one because that's often high pressure. Yeah. Really service orientated. So anything like that really, that where you've worked with people, you can apply those skills. Like, as I said before, we had some people from the health industry. Yeah. Again, that's just working with people. So if you've got those skills, the technical can be taught, the legislation can be taught. Yeah. But it's that curiosity and the willingness to learn and really just dive in and do something that they haven't done before. But they've obviously got to have a passion for real estate. Yes. As well. Yep. And for learning. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's an awesome pathway for starting out. What does your pathway look like for developing leaders within?
Developing leaders within, great question. I think that you've got to spot it early. You really got, and that is where the personal growth plans really help with that, because that's one thing that comes up when people have leadership aspirations. They'll put that on their growth plan. But I think spotting it early and working out who has those leadership aspirations, and then start those nurture plans really, really early. So there's a couple of people that I'm actually mentoring regularly on a monthly basis who have those leadership aspirations, and we will have chats about, you know, the gaps that they currently have, what skills that they need to be working on, and what my expectations are for leaders, so that they can really start to work on that and develop that, so that when a key role comes up, they're in a really good position to go for it, and they've already got that little bit of learning and understanding under their belt. Yeah.
Fun part of your job, get to mentor people who want to be, you know, stepping up into a leadership space.
As you can see, I do a lot of mentoring. But it's really important for me. It's really important for me, because I think if you can spot that early and nurture that early, then people will stay with you.
Correct.
And because they know that you've got their interests at heart, and you care about them, and you care about their careers.
Yeah. Good place to be. Good place to be. Chantelle, anyone who is wanting, I've got 2 questions. Which one will I ask first? My first question is, if someone's listening and they're wanting to step into that leadership space, but they don't know how to have that conversation with someone within their business, because it's not, you know, unfortunately not everyone has someone like you that is open to having those conversations early. What's your advice to them in terms of having that conversation with someone within their business? Yeah,
I'd say like a lot of, I guess, people can really get in their own heads about, and, you know, the fear comes in. Just work out what you want to say. But if you really have those aspirations, ask your manager, your leader, to really have a coffee, have a catch up, and just really just be open about it, and just, you know, share what your aspirations are. They'd really actually love to hear it. And they want to know. So just let them know.
Just because they're not asking you the question doesn't mean they don't want you to.
Just because they're not asking doesn't mean that they're not going to say yes. They want to know, and by showing that initiative also, and having the courage to have that conversation would be really well received.
It's kind of first stage leadership, isn't it? It's being able to have those conversations. That's a good place to start.
Just go for it. Just lean into it.
Yeah, awesome. My last question for you, we've been talking about self-development and personal development, and I know you're a huge reader and podcast listener. So what are you reading at the moment, or what are you listening to?
I am reading at the moment Atomic Habits, and a podcast that I'm listening to, actually you put me onto. It's The Imperfects.
Oh, my favourite.
It's great.
It is. Yeah, great listen. If anyone hasn't heard of that one before, it's a very good one.
A very, very good one. I just the last one that I heard was all about sleep hygiene. I
haven't listened to that one yet.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's so fascinating because it talks to the science behind it. And just, you know, all the things that we do now, like the screens, that artificial light is why we can't just get to sleep and stuff like that. So yeah, it was super interesting.
Which then affects performance at work, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So yes, a good one. Awesome.
Yeah.
Chantelle, thank you for joining us. It's been awesome to have you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. It's been great to be here.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Impact and Influence. Click follow to get notified about future episodes. Leaving a review helps others find the podcast. And to learn more about our courses, our study tours, conferences, keynote topics and our services, or how simply we might be able to help support you in taking you to places you never thought possible, please visit regrowthkyliewalsh.com.